You said is on point about KD and his impact. But Bron had 21, 9, and 7 yesterday. Defensively stepped up as well and switched position. Here's the thing. From a scoring standpoint, Perk, I'm 100% with you. We know KD arguably the greatest scorer to ever play in the NBA when it comes to his ability to get offensive buckets. I just look at the game in totality. And this team yesterday, as much as you say they fed off of KD, they fed off Bron, in my opinion. The plays that he was making, the finishes, the steals, the pushes ahead, getting other people involved. It looked like at a time when Serbia and Jokic were trying to make a run, to me it seemed like LeBron was the one that everybody was like, you go facilitate, you go create. So I think LeBron is going to be every team that he plays on. And I'm biased potentially, but it's what I've seen over years. I think every team that he plays on, he has a bigger impact of winning than anybody that he's playing with. I'm under that impression, and I was under that impression when I watched them yesterday against Serbia.
All right, before Wendy jumps in here, Wendy, you need to deal with the sirens. They're really distracting our show right now, and I'm going to blame you for that. Are you following LeBron?
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
Me and Bron, cool. I don't know.
I was just wondering.
I'm gonna create a reconciliation with him and Perk because I don't like us beefing
I'm
in
only
public.
following Savannah. I'm a bigger fan of hers.
Yeah, that's Savannah dope too.
Okay, Wendy, how's it going? In Petty, my friend.
Yeah, well, look, Kevin Durant loves playing for Team USA so much. This has been such a big part of his career. I know he's got the championships and the MVP, the finals MVPs, but I'm telling you, the gold medals are so important to him. And it was just killing him over the last 3 weeks to watch this team come together and not be able to be a part of it. Seeing him on the bench, you could just see it on his face. He just wasn't right, and he was having some starts and stops. He was recovering from this calf injury. It looked for a little bit like he might not be able to start this Olympics, and so he was on air yesterday when this game was going on. You could see it on his face. You could see it with those smiles. After the game, he was so excited after the game yesterday. He was even doing Serbian television. He's like, "I'll talk to the Serbians. Why not?" He was so happy to be in that role. And the reason he's so valuable, look, he's valuable in any basketball game, but in FIBA basketball, where the big men are allowed to sit there in the paint, there's no defensive 3 seconds. You're allowed to just sit there and block the paint. And so if you're a guard, you pretty much have to try to score on the outside. And if you're a big man, you got to deal with the paint being blocked. So if you have size and can shoot, it's just amazing in Olympic basketball. And my gosh, is there a better guy who's with size who can shoot in the history of the game than Kevin Durant? So what I just want to point out, he hadn't even played a 5-on-5 full court game since April. Since the Suns got eliminated in that first round against Minnesota. He comes in. He hadn't come off the bench. He came off the bench 3 times in his 17-year NBA career. 3 times. So you're asking him to play off an injury, hadn't played in 3 months, coming off the bench. And he delivers this awesome performance. And Serbia is good. I know that Canada has more talent, and you say, well, Serbia's only got 4 NBA players. But the way Serbia plays makes the U.S. uncomfortable. And it was happening again in this game. They were down 10-2 out of the gate. They were down 19-14 when Durant came into the game. They were mucking the game up. They were slowing it down. They were forcing turnovers. And Durant came in and everything was fine. You guys are right about LeBron. Ultimately, LeBron is the driving engine. But Durant made things possible yesterday. He's been doing it since the 2012 Olympics, more than a decade, and he did it again in this big, huge win.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, Molly. Like that's why Wendy and what Perk is saying, it's always hard to argue with KD. Mm-hmm. Every basketball game that KD has ever played in, he's been a mismatch.
Yeah.
He's going to be that until he finished playing basketball. I just looked at the game differently than they did yesterday. I thought the sparks defensively and getting everybody involved and realizing that KD was doing what KD was doing and willing to take a back seat and make sure he was in those positions to score mattered more about how LeBron played yesterday than KD. We expect, and to Wendy's point, coming off an injury, that's phenomenal. But I wasn't shocked at the way KD played yesterday because in my mind, that's Kevin Durant. He's going to step on the basketball court and be that guy more times than not. I just thought the facilitating of LeBron yesterday on the offensive and defensive side had more of an impact.
Yeah.
And those guys fed off of LeBron a lot more than I thought anybody else on the team.
Listen, before you jump in, Perk, on Friday, we didn't even know, obviously we didn't know till an hour before if Kevin Durant was even going to be able to play. So I'm just happy that he's able to play, and he had an epic performance right out of the
I mean, look, you can't go wrong with either one of those guys. The OGs are leading the way. And you know the beautiful part about it, just to add on to it, I'm watching a guy like Anthony Edwards, right, when he's on the floor with Kevin Durant, have to elevate his game, right? He's elevating his game. Like, throughout that first half, when Kevin Durant was putting on one of the greatest individual performances I've seen in basketball, right, in the first half, Anthony Edwards was right there doing his thing too, right behind, right in the thick of things. So it's that effect, right? It's just when you watch a guy like Kevin Durant run off buckets like that, and whether it's the pull up hezzy, whether it's coming off of pin downs, holding the spacing for the corner three, whether it's getting to